For decades, Mexico has been trapped in a relentless cycle of conflict against powerful and dangerous criminal organizations. Cartels have risen to dominance and fallen into ruin, leaving a trail of instability across the nation's landscape. Yet, one figure managed to build an empire so vast and brutal that it dared to challenge the state itself. His name was Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, a man who would eventually become the most feared boss in the country. The world came to know him by a single, chilling name, El Mencho. For years, he remained a phantom, a top-tier fugitive who seemed to vanish whenever the authorities got close. Born on the 17th of July 1966 in the rural town of Aguililla, Michoacán, Oseguera grew up facing the harsh realities of poverty. Seeking a different life, he traveled to the United States, but his time there was cut short by drug-related arrests. Following his deportation back to Mexico, he began navigating the dangerous pathways of the local criminal underworld. As the Mexican drug war intensified, Oseguera demonstrated a ruthless ability to climb through the ranks of existing gangs. When internal power struggles fractured the older, established organizations, he saw a unique opportunity to seize control. From the resulting chaos, a new, highly organized, and exceptionally violent force emerged: the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Known as the CJNG, this group quickly became a dominant force, with El Mencho established as its undisputed leader. Under his command, the cartel expanded its reach rapidly, building massive international networks for trafficking illicit substances. Authorities have long accused the organization of moving vast quantities of methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl. These drugs flowed steadily into the United States and beyond, fueling the cartel's rapid accumulation of wealth and influence. However, it was the sheer brutality of the CJNG that truly cemented its infamous reputation across the globe. The group became known for a campaign of terror, utilizing kidnappings, extortion, and forced disappearances to maintain control. Assassinations became a routine tool for the cartel, used to eliminate both rival bosses and any perceived threats. The level of violence was unprecedented, creating a climate of fear that gripped entire regions of the country. In 2015, the cartel shocked the international community with a display of defiance that few had ever witnessed. Gunmen targeted a Mexican military helicopter during an operation, successfully shooting the aircraft down from the sky. The attack resulted in the tragic loss of multiple military personnel, marking a dark turning point in the conflict. This brazen act demonstrated the cartel's extraordinary firepower and its willingness to wage open war against the state. For years, Mexican and U.S. authorities launched massive, multi-million-dollar hunts to bring El Mencho to justice. Despite numerous operations, the cartel leader remained elusive, always one step ahead of those trying to capture him. Investigators believed he relied on a sophisticated security network to monitor the movements of law enforcement. He was constantly surrounded by heavily armed bodyguards, ensuring he could escape at the first sign of trouble. Rural safe houses provided him with hidden sanctuaries, allowing him to operate from the shadows for years. Corrupt contacts within various institutions often provided him with the intelligence needed to evade capture. Rumors frequently circulated about his health, with some claiming he was suffering from a debilitating illness. Others suggested he had already passed away. Yet, the violence associated with his name continued unabated. He became a legendary figure within the criminal underworld, a ghost that law enforcement could never quite pin down. For the authorities, he was a persistent nightmare, representing the immense difficulty of dismantling such a powerful organization. Then, on the 22nd of February 2026, the long-standing efforts of intelligence agencies finally reached a critical breakthrough. Mexican security forces launched what would become the most significant anti-cartel operation in recent memory. Intelligence gathered with the assistance of U.S. agencies pinpointed El Mencho at a heavily guarded property. The location was a secluded site near Tapalpa, Jalisco, where the leader had been hiding in plain sight. Mexican Army Special Forces were deployed, supported by National Guard units and specialized intelligence personnel. Air assets were also utilized to secure the perimeter and prevent any chance of the target escaping the net. Reports indicate that the location was confirmed after authorities successfully tracked individuals close to the leader. As security forces closed in on the property, a fierce and intense gun battle erupted between the two sides. The confrontation was brutal, with authorities reporting that several cartel gunmen were killed during the exchange. In the heat of the operation, El Mencho himself was seriously wounded by the advancing security forces. Officials later stated that he died while being transported by military aircraft to Mexico City for medical treatment. At the time of his death, the cartel leader was 59 years old, ending his long reign of terror. News of his demise triggered immediate and violent retaliation from the remaining members of the CJNG. Gunmen quickly established roadblocks across major highways, attempting to paralyze movement in the region. Vehicles were set on fire, creating plumes of smoke that signaled the cartel's desperate and angry response. Security forces faced renewed attacks as the cartel lashed out, causing widespread chaos across several states. Airlines were forced to cancel flights as the security situation deteriorated rapidly in the aftermath of the news. Tourists and residents were advised to shelter in place as the violence spilled into the streets. Large sections of western Mexico descended into turmoil as the cartel reacted to the loss of its leader. To some within the criminal world, El Mencho was a symbol of absolute power and defiance. But for countless families, his legacy is measured in fear, violence, disappearances, and the loss of loved ones. His death marked the definitive end of one of the most powerful and destructive cartel reigns in history. Yet, many experts warn that the fall of a single leader does not necessarily end the cycle of violence. Instead, such power vacuums often ignite new, bloody struggles between factions vying for control of the territory. As Mexico continues its fight against organized crime, the shadow of El Mencho remains a reminder of the nation's struggle. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts in the comments below.